Ibra di testa, Tonali, gol! Sandro! Meritato! Sandro! Gol!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Tolgrud.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back. We got Madison with us as well. I was so good at pointing to him, and then I finally messed it up.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. We have Anthony
Nice.
with us as well.
Yeah, excellent. Three Musketeers back. And it's mad because we've had intense episode after intense episode where we've had like 3 games to cover. And then the international break comes along and seemingly saps everybody's enthusiasm for football. Maybe that's just me speaking as an England fan because we've been relegated for the first time in our international history, because that's a thing now, apparently. You can get relegated. But yeah, the international
AJ,
break...
has the US ever been relegated in anything?
I have no fucking clue. I don't.
No.
You know what I watched during the international break? I watched the Sidemen charity game, and that was far more exciting than anything I've seen in Serie A or Champions League in the last couple seasons, to be honest with you. So,
I
yeah,
don't know what that is.
it was a YouTuber charity game. I watched the last 10 minutes, and the game ended like 8-7. It was a right. And there were some sick goals, to be honest with you. Like
Maybe
it
we
was
can
fun.
cover that instead.
Should we cover that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk through each goal.
Yeah. Well, I put, because one of them got a hat trick and then a hat trick of assist, and I was like, Milan, please, like, sign this man. But Fatma only gave him a 9.9. I was like, what more does he need for a 10?
Yeah.
But,
I feel like
A penalty save.
I mean, I guess, but he wasn't a goalkeeper, so
Right. I know. That's why he did everything else right.
yeah, okay, all right.
there you go. That's
I'll
that's
do it.
Maddie's scale of a 10. He's only giving out a 10 if there's a penalty save in there as well. I saw that Mark Goldbridge was a manager for that, which looked hilarious.
Yeah,
He's all like suited up and stuff.
I thought it was Solskjaer.
He
at
did
first.
look like
Looked
Solskjaer.
just like him. Yeah, I was like, wait
100%,
a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
funny, man. That was
Might be going astray a little bit here. But yeah, look, it's not fun. It's not fun to have to mention this, but it's a Milan thing. We've kind of become accustomed to it now, where we get a wave of injuries at 1, sometimes 2 or 3 points in the season. It kind of derailed our Scudetto bid a bit in the 2020-21 season. We had our struggles last season as well. This season, we've had not great forward depth with Rebic and Origi being out, and we've had other issues to contend with as well. But basically, we've just been smacked by like 4 injuries since we last recorded. I guess the first one would be, it turns out that Calabria came off at halftime in the Napoli game with a muscle discomfort. So he wasn't called up by Italy anyway, but he stayed home. Stayed at Milanello rather to work with the rest of the team, but it looks like he's going to be okay. He's the one that's going to be fine, and should be back in the starting lineup for the Empoli game, which we will come on to preview. I can't even remember what order they happened in chronologically, but Teo's next, I think. Teo did go for the France training camp before their Nations League games, and then came back straight away because he had some discomfort in his adductor muscle, which is basically down the side of your leg. And he's facing probably a couple of games out if we were going to go with an optimistic estimate, looking like he will miss the games against Empoli and the first one against Chelsea. He's aiming to come back for the Juve game. And then the one that was a real sickener probably is that we've lost Mike Maignan for quite a big chunk of games again. It happened last season with his wrist hand problem after he saved that Mo Salah penalty and tried to play through the pain, and it wasn't happening. This time it's his calf. I always find it mad when goalkeepers pick up muscle injuries, but then, when you think about it, I guess they do make some intense bursts of movement, and maybe it is a surprise that it doesn't happen more often. But yeah, that's a big blow as well. And then there's Simon Kjaer, who has some ankle discomfort, but it looks like he may be okay. We're just waiting for some more information on that. Yeah, it's not good, boys. I don't like internationals.
No, it happens, like you said, every year. This 3rd season in a row, we've gotten a crisis after the first international break when we're in
3rd year in a row. It's like the
Might be more.
12th year in a row. I feel like we have an injury crisis every season.
Yeah, but this one specifically after the first international break. I think
Okay.
like 3 seasons ago, it was after winter break. We came back and everyone was
Yeah.
just dead. But,
Yeah.
yeah. And that really screws you over, especially late in the season. So I guess better get it out of the way now, but then it screws you over in Champions League. Like we're going into the hardest 2 games of the Champions League. And of course, one of, if not our most important player in Mike Mignon is going to be out, and when you look at the rest of the team, like, yeah, the attack will be there and midfield, most of the defense that minus Teo, who probably is our most important in defense as well. Given the options for who the backup is, I think losing Mignon is the biggest hit just because the drop in level from Mike to Tatarushanu is so much more massive than it is from, say, Tomori to Kier or something like that. So I think this one hurts us a lot, especially with the length of the injury being 30 plus days. The good news is with things coming quick and fast, he'll be back before the end of the group stage, I believe. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, so he should be able to get back in. I know he's taken off the list, but if you're back within 30 days, you could be put right back on the list. So fingers crossed that happens and we're not too far down in the hole. The good news is we're top of the group right now. So, we're at least in a decent spot. But yeah, it doesn't look good. I hate it. Every season, I say like how pointless these are, especially the first one because it's just friendlies. This one at least has somewhat more of an understanding because it's right before the World Cup. However, my counter argument to that is with games coming every 3-4 days, they're going to be in match fitness level come November for the World Cup. If anything, they need a week off so that they could rest, so that they're not getting hurt. And we're seeing it. It's not just us getting hit; it's everyone. Brozovic is
Yeah.
out for a few weeks. Hakan's out for a few weeks. Someone from Napoli, Politano.
Politano, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a few. There's a few.
that everyone's dropping like flies, and it's because we're playing 8-9 games, in a 2-week span, and then all right, now you got to fly across the world to do these meaningless friendlies for teams that aren't even your team. Like I don't know, it's just too much.
In my opinion, there was a really easy solution to this, and that was that this 2-week break wasn't needed, and you simply keep playing club football, and you tag this break on before the World Cup, and you say to teams you can have a training camp before the World Cup, and if you want to organise some friendlies, or even you play the last round of Nations League games there, so there's a bit of competitive football leading into the World Cup, then you've got it all as one block, and this is just being stupid. I mean, the top players at the best clubs have been playing every 3 or 4 days so far this season already. Players are overworked and they're clearly struggling with it.
Is there like a international players union? Because I know like in the NBA and the NFL they have
Yeah.
one, and I
I
don't know
think
if it's like
there's-
league by league.
I think there's unofficial ones, like there's not like the players' associations in the American leagues. But
Yeah, it's like FIPPA. Or
Yeah,
something.
Because
Something
you would
like-
think that they would be like, we're not playing a World Cup in the middle of our season.
Well, the issue is money. TV rights. That's what's
Yeah,
Well,
well,
also
the
the-
issue
the-
is like if the players don't play, then what?
yeah, but then
I mean,
the
it's easier to say that, but
alternative is-
there's only a handful of players that can get away with saying, "Nah, I'm retired from international ball," and then unretire and still get called up. Like
The
Messi
reason
and
that they're
Ronaldo can
playing
get
it
away
in-
with
No,
that.
but they don't have to retire. This is all hypothetical.
That's the only way you could get
and
not caught
I
up.
completely took a side track, but like, players in the NFL and the NBA, like I feel like if they didn't have a voice, they'd be way overworked, like they are in soccer. Because there's no reason that they should be playing, once a week, 52, at least once a week, 52 weeks a year with summer.
Yeah. I mean, with the World Cup, the reason that it's mid-season is because it's in Qatar, which it shouldn't be, in my opinion, but that's a whole separate debate. But if you played it in the summer, it would be too hot. It'd just be unbearable temperatures. So this was the compromise, I think the players probably voted for this because you can't be playing in 45-degree heat in the middle of the summer. So
What is that Fahrenheit, do you know? Like 120?
It's over 100 for sure. But and I know they said like foggy
130
in stadiums or something like that, but like that doesn't happen in all the enclosed stadiums here in America. You could have air conditioning and not create clouds in there. And with the money Qatar is spending to build all these stadiums because they didn't have any before, like they could have done it in the summer just fine. But it would have been fine. But
Yeah,
whatever.
international breaks. It's tough. It's tough. Maybe some people are more invested in following their country, or I do like seeing how Milan players get on. Don't get me wrong. Like I went with a friend to the pub to watch Italy against England at that was played at San Siro on Friday night. Was kind of hoping that Tonali would play that game because I wanted to show my mate who doesn't watch much Serie A that he's good, you know, and I feel like it would have been a good way to alert some of the Prem heads as to like the talent that we have. Pobega ended up getting a game, and then he didn't look too bad. But Tonali was another one that I forgot to mention who pulled out of the training retreat with Italy. But thankfully he's okay, and it was just a precaution because he had a bit of muscle fatigue. But that's good that he's actually getting the nearly a fortnight to rest up. Yeah, and Tomori not being picked by England, Southgate out, and all that. But it's good that he's getting some rest as well, I suppose, to stay sharp. Meanwhile, Giroud has started both games for France. At least I think he did. He certainly started last night and got a drop to 3 out of 10, according to all the papers in France. So that's good. He didn't try. Hopefully kept
the
a
game
bit of
before
energy.
he
Got a goal, didn't he?
Yeah, now he's like 2 goals away from tying Henry's record for France. So I hope he does that just because fuck Arsenal. Even though I guess they're both technically Arsenal players, but Giroud's our guy now.
Yeah, and also like he's got a point to prove at Giroud because his place in the squad isn't nailed down. He really only got those minutes because Benzema's injured. But you'd think that he should be taken to the World Cup given he's got experience winning it.
Yeah,
and the record is so close. And he's the oldest ever goal scorer for France. So hats off
Has
to
Benzema
Olivier
even
Giroud.
played in the World Cup for France?
not in a while because he was kind of blacklisted because he's a shitbag human. But
and I mean, he's having a hell of a season, is Giroud, and then you've got Benzema, who's obviously had a hell of a couple of years. So and then France, we've only won one Nations League game, so it's kind of mad how it's all working out. But injuries coming in swathes, and I think the game against Empoli now is just going to be a case of let's just get through it. It's not necessarily the most daunting of fixtures because I don't think Empoli are the best this season. It would be fair to say, but the lineup that we cobbled together is going to be pretty mad. And one thing I will say, I disagree with what you said earlier about the biggest drop off being from Maignan to Tatarashanu, because I still maintain that there'll always be a limit to how much a goalkeeper can influence the outcome of a game. If you give up good scoring chances, they're probably going to go in. I also don't think Maignan been brilliant so far this season. I don't think the defence has been good either, but our defensive record as a whole hasn't been anything close to the second half of last season. The biggest drop-off is if we have to play Serginho Dest at left-back or Ballo-Torre. If you lose Teo, anyone you put in there is going to be shit in comparison.
Maybe overall, as far as the impact on the game, I'm just saying the skill drop-off.
Skill level,
But Mike's top. Tata's not. But I get what you're saying.
Last season,
a great, and when we had him during the last injury thing, we didn't drop that many points, so that's great.
I think we only dropped points to Roma, right?
I think we did.
And it was a draw.
I can't remember, but I know that he saved the penalty in the derby, and he kept a clean sheet at Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. So he's got experience in the big game.
Yeah, he did well. He actually did a lot better than I thought he would, and I think most people thought he would.
It was Fiorentina that we lost to, wasn't it? When he made it.
I thought that.
That was when Maignan came back too early, didn't it? Yeah. I mean, that is what it is. I know what you're saying. Mike's elite. He's a top 5 goalkeeper in the world, and Tatarashanu's not top 100. But I just think we're going to really, really miss Teo because it forces us to completely switch up the defense. And
I wonder how that's going to affect. I wonder how that's going to affect our play. There was a phrase I was looking for, but I can't think of it, so I'm just going to say play. Because we normally go up on the left side and connect with Leao and cut in there, and Calabria will stay back. But now whoever's on the left is not going to be the guy running forward like Teo. We know that. So
yeah, but it could also help out because Teo and Leao are both kind of ball hogs, and they don't pass when they should. So
that's true.
it may help having a left back who passes the ball.
Yeah.
Even
Coverage
though
as well, like
it's like passing is only part of it. Like Teo is really good in the attack as well. So it's like you drop one thing to pick up the other, and I don't know if they even each other out. But
Should I put up
you
the
know.
Empoli preview thing
Yeah.
while we're at it? Since I think we're kind of merging on into this.
yeah, we're going into it, I suppose, aren't we?
Yeah.
So Empoli so far this season, for those of you who have no idea how they've been getting on, that is absolutely understandable. So far, they've won 1 of their opening 7 games. They've scored 6 goals in their opening 7 games, but they've only let in 7. They currently sit the lower mid-table. I've got 16th, but I'm not sure if this table's actually up to date.
Why would it not be up
appears
to date?
I have them in 14th.
14th. Well, the thing is, because I've looked on Wikipedia at their season page, and sometimes they don't have it.
Yeah, I don't know why
have
you
it
would do
right.
that.
14th, yeah, they are
Mob.
14th. They are 14th. So yeah, they are struggling a little bit.
My
it'd be fair
issue
to say.
with Empoli though is how many players do they have called up? Probably not many, right? So there's a good chance that their entire starting 11 has been training specifically for us for going to be 3 weeks now or whatever it is, 2 weeks, something like that. Whereas we haven't, the backup players and maybe a couple starters have been training for them specifically, but not too much. You look at their injuries; they got Matteo Destro out, so that I guess that's good for us. And then 2 guys I don't really know, Tonelli and Baldanzi. I mean, whatever that does nothing for me. But good God, looking at our list of injuries, that is a long list of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, look, we're obviously the better team. We should win this one, but the first game back from international break is always difficult when it's a small team. If we were playing Juve first or Inter first or someone who had the same amount of call-ups as us, I'd feel a lot more confident. I'm a little nervous. I did say on the last pod that, we're not going to lose from here till the World Cup, and that was before the injury crisis, so I don't know how great of a prediction that was anymore, but we should at the very least be able to sneak out a draw, and I'd be shocked if that's the case. I think we'll still get the win, but it's not going to be an easy game, that's for sure.
I still think that we go winless or lossless. Lossless.
Undefeated
till the World Cup. It doesn't mean it will be easy, but I mean, our hardest game could be against Empoli. I mean, 7 goals conceded is not bad.
No.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
That's
At
what,
the
a goal
expense of
game.
only-
How many have we played this season? 8?
Yeah, 7.
8.
7.
7.
So yeah, they've conceded on average 1 a game, which means they've probably had some clean sheets in there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. They won their last game 1-0 away at Bologna, so that was their first
and
win of the season.
Fiorentina couldn't get one past them. So,
yeah, but then Salernitana scored twice against them. Roma beat them 2-1. So they have also had games still where they conceded multiple goals.
But looking at it, they haven't really played anyone that with like a heavy goal scoring threat outside of Roma, and even that's kind of questionable.
Yeah.
But
I mean, their top scorer is on 2 goals as well. So they've spread around the remaining 4 goals, I think it is. I mean, yeah, they're not conceding many, but at the expense of also not scoring many either. They've scored less than they've conceded. So that's not generally the best formula. They've still got some names. I mean, Destro being out, that's good because he tends to score against us, actually.
Yeah.
But they got Lammers, who was at Atalanta, Satriano, who I think is a Uruguay international. Bandinelli's pretty all right. He's their top scorer. He's got 2 goals. Razvan Marin's there, who was linked with Milan a couple of summers ago, I think. Bayrami, another one who was linked with us. Liam Henderson. And then I guess the one that we'll be keeping a closer eye on is Fabiano Parisi, the left back. Because there's been a few sources claiming that we are in the market for a new deputy to Teo, and he might be good because he's young and Italian. I mean, it's not a team that strikes an awful lot of fear into me, but for all the reasons you guys have just said, injuries and condition after international games and stuff like that, I think it could be really tough. I remember we played them last season it was the game before the Christmas break, I believe. We won 4-2 away against them, and that was when we tried Kessie as a number 10 for the first time, pretty much, and he scored a brace. And Teo missed that game, and Ballatore played. So, maybe there are some similarities, and we managed to get the result then. And I do think that we get it this time as well, but I don't think it's going to be straightforward. So I'm going to say 1-0.
I'm going to make just the worst prediction of all time here. I think we're going to go down early, then we're going to claw back an advantage, and then they're going to equalize, and then we're going to win it in stoppage time 3-2. And I cannot wait to be wrong, but I just have terrible feelings for this game.
That'd be pretty good, I think, a last-minute winner.
Well, yeah, I just would rather it not require a last-minute winner against Empoli.
Fair.
I'm going to go 2-1.
Yeah.
I think that, or I honestly want to predict a 1-1 draw. Even though I said we'd go undefeated. It's not a defeat, but still.
Yeah, not fair.
Yeah. I should have actually asked as well. I mean, what team-wise, Tata Ashanu, I guess, is going to be in goal. Would you rather see Dest or Calabria or Ballatore at left back, and then who at right back? I guess the centre backs will be Kalulu Tomori because Kier's not 100%.
Do you think we try the? Oh, that's right. He's not 100%. I was going to say, do you think we try 3 at the back?
Unless you throw Chow in there or Gabia.
Milik or whatever.
Yeah, Emily Chow and Gabia. I don't know. I think we might. Well, I don't think we'll see a 3 at the back in this game because everyone hasn't had a chance to play it. That would be foolish overthinking from Pioli, I in my opinion, to try a new formation after people have been away. So probably the same formation, and it's most likely going to be Calabria in a spot and Dest on the left. I think that's what we're going to see, because at least he's played minutes. I don't think Ballatore's had any, and then
he's had 19 minutes this calendar year as Ballatore.
Yeah, that's not good. So probably the usual suspects in center back Tomori and Kalulu. Probably the same in the mid because we think Tonali's going to be fit for this game, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then CDK, Giroud, Leao.
I mean, I don't know if this would be how it works, but let's say Tonali isn't 100%, or you think we need him to be at 100% for the Chelsea triple header that we've got. Maybe you play Krunic, maybe you play Pobega from the start. I don't know. Depending if Pobega starts tonight, he might not be 100%. The job's fucked, innit?
Yeah. I bet we actually see Macias start because Salmakers got called up for Belgium and Macias didn't get called up for Brazil. So he's been training. So he might be a better idea to start actually over Salmakers. So
there was something interesting last night. CDK played the second half for Belgium as a striker. And I searched on Twitter, the latest tweets to see how he was getting on. Didn't sound great. They lost as well. So, perhaps not ideal.
But he's getting picked as striker. Oh, well, I guess Lukaku's injured. Never mind.
Yeah.
When does he come back, by the way? Do we know?
No, I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
No. In fact, Gazzetta front page either today or yesterday suggested that he's back. But that might just be highlighting the game that he is going to return for. But I'm sure he was meant to miss a couple of games after the break as well.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
and with them also missing Hakan, right? He was out for 3 weeks, and then Brozovic just going down now for another 3 to 4 or something like that. So
yeah,
I mean that's their core. That's bad for
when
them.
they really didn't need it as well because they're in panic stations
a
little bit. So. Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. I don't know what their upcoming fixtures are like, actually, but I'm going to have a quick look. That will test their midfield depth a bit. I mean, they've got Roma, Barcelona, Sassuolo away, and Barcelona. Not ideal. Good luck with that. We'll see if Inzaghi really is on thin ice. But let's just go and get the job done in Empoli. That would be nice, and then we can focus on the Chelsea game. Hopefully, get a couple more bodies back. If Rebic is in better shape, if Origi's in better shape, that helps the attack. And we'll see. Maybe Teo makes a bit of a quicker recovery, but I certainly wouldn't be risking him because if we lose him for a longer period of time.
Off topic, but how funny would it be if Lukaku goes to Inter because he couldn't stand Tuchel, and then Tuchel comes to Inter because Inzaghi fails.
I would love that.
Would be that
And
would
then he
be
gets benched again.
that would be so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that
I
Tuchel's
don't
in
even-
our league, and I don't want that either.
Yeah, I don't even know where Tuchel goes now, to be honest.
Probably back to Germany, Dortmund or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, actually, Bayern's not doing too hot right now.
Yeah, there was talks about
Nagelsmann's-
Nagelsmann getting sacked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, then like Hansi Flick getting sacked would be funny, and
Yeah.
then Nagelsmann to the national team, and then Hansi Flick.
It really
getting
is just a carousel with the
Yeah, it
coaches.
is. It is. And then you've got like Pochettino, who's still not in a job. It's
I
kind
mean,
of
he's
crazy.
collecting PSG severance. He doesn't need a job.
Yeah, he's all right. He doesn't need one, but I do find it funny.
Yeah. Anyways, back.
And Zidane's still out of work. Right, let's do some questions then, shall we? It's going to be a bit of a shorter episode this week, I hope. But it is what it is. There's not an awful lot to talk about. Oh, I mean, we'll touch on the Maldini interview after we've done a couple of questions because I think it's important to talk about some of the stuff that he came out with in his appearance at the Sport Festival in Trento. So we got 3 questions. We'll talk through them. Michael Gambino, with Teo out, do you think a 3-5-2 would be good to try v Empoli? Now, we've just talked about it, and I held off on mentioning it because I saw the question. I actually think that if there was ever a way that we were going to get a tune out of Ballo-Torre, it would be playing him as a wing-back, because we know that he's suspect defensively. But in pre-season, he had a couple of decent games where he showed that he was quite good going forward. And for Senegal, I think he does most of his best work going forward. Do I think he's probably a lost cause? Yes. He might end up at Galatasaray from January onwards, for all we know. But I don't think a 3-5-2 is... I don't think it's something that you're going to see from the start from us anytime in the next few games. As much as Pioli's hinted at it, and as much as I think it has been tried, in training and stuff, I don't feel like you can do it without your best wing backs.
Yeah. Yeah, you won't see it without Teo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Where was that feedback coming from?
I
What
did hear a
feedback?
bit of feedback, but...
Oh,
think
you
it's
know what?
coming from
I was
Anthony.
just finished my coffee, so maybe it
it might be that.
gurgled a little bit or something.
Rock A. Ward, is Giroud already considered a Milan legend?
No.
So no, definitely not. Me personally, yes, just because I like everyone who won that Scudetto with us is legendary to my life, but in the grand scheme of Milan as a club, no, I'd say Zlatan is, and that's about it from the Scudetto winning team so far.
Well, Tonali is going to be a legend, but he's not.
Yeah, eventually, but not now. I mean, we're just spoiled for choice. We have so many legends, so many legendary strikers, so many Ballon d'Or winning strikers that you can't throw Giroud in there.
How many
unfortunately.
Ballon d'Or strikers do we have?
Van Basten. I mean, we
George
had
Weah,
Ronaldo, we had
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko. Van Basten
Ronaldo
won
didn't
3
win
of
it
them.
with us.
So
No.
he still won it. I'm just saying, like, we had those caliber players, like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and Ronaldo
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
make it with us. He's not a legend for us either. So I guess there's that.
I think that like a big aspect of becoming a legend has to be longevity. And I know Giroud's at the end of his career, so he's not going to stay for 10 years with us. That's unrealistic. But I do think that, he's not even played a season and a bit. You can't be throwing around legend status.
Now,
there,
if
in
we
my
go
opinion.
back-to-back titles,
And
with
he just
Giroud
keeps
leading
scoring
the
big
front
goals.
line, yeah, I mean, if he gets 15 plus goals this season, like, a legend's probably a stretch, but you can make an argument, I suppose, given where we were the last decade and then where we were with him. Like, I think that would be huge.
I don't know what the tier below legend is. I want to say, I feel like icon might be the tier above legend, where like you think of a club and you think of that one player, so like Maldini might be the
Maldini,
icon of
Baresi,
Milan,
yeah.
or Baresi. Like they're in their own tier. Dedicated their life to the club basically and won everything there was to win. And then there might be legend, and then there might be like whatever the category underneath legend is, players who had a big impact and won things but didn't hang around long enough. that might be where Giroud nestles into if he has another good season.
I mean,
and I
is
think
it
he'll
just
earn a
fan
renewal.
favorite? Like, I don't.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. A
Yeah.
bit of like a cult hero type thing. I don't know. But I'm obviously, you can't deny the contributions that he's
Yeah.
made. That brace in the derby to win it in February was like momentum shifting. Scored again in the derby this year. Scored against Napoli. Scored against Lazio. Big goals have come from Giroud. But that's exactly why we signed him. And he is delivering. And I think he will earn a renewal. His contract runs out at the end of the season. I think we'll give him another year. Because his body's holding up at the moment, touch wood. He's probably been injured since we've recorded this or something. But yeah, long live Ollie G. Abdullah asks, if Leao chooses not to renew, how much do you think we can get for him? And who do we replace him with?
Well, he's got to keep his form because the end of last season, 150 mil easy. Right now, I'd probably put it around the 100 mil, maybe a little less. If
you think his value's gone down?
I think it was inflated by the end of the last season winning the MVP.
It's only been 7 games.
Right, and he hasn't produced a whole lot,
Are we forgetting the Milan derby?
No, I mean, but that's one game of 7.
I think he's still top for goal contributions this season.
Surely it's
He's
true.
got more assists than goals, though. I know that.
Well, okay, that's true. I forgot he has a lot of assists. Now I'm going to get accused of waffling because I agreed with you when you provided more information. So
he's got 3 Serie A goals and
Giroud's on 4. I mean, yeah, I guess he's up there, but
3 and 3.
I don't know. I think 150 was just inflated because MVP end of the season and stuff like that. But I think we would accept like 130, 140. I wouldn't even be shocked if it was 100 and we were like, okay.
I bet we would accept 100 million for sure.
That's what I'm saying, especially if it comes to the point
playing,
where he says I'm not going to renew,
Yeah, well, I think that he wants to stay. I think he's trying to get as much as he can for the sporting. Whatever happened.
I saw someone on Twitter who I can't remember who it was, so I apologize if you're listening to this and I don't quote you on it, but they had a really good idea. It was, why don't we give him, the salary that we're offering or whatever, and then include bonuses that only go towards that fee based on performance, like based off goals or whatever. Score this many goals, we'll give you X amount of million towards your little fee. I say little, 20 million.
But that's how the fine would always be repaid. Like, he wouldn't be asked to pay it in a lump sum. It comes out as 20% of his salary. So you add 20% on. At least that's what's been reported. That's how it'll be repaid.
Okay.
It'll be 20% of his salary. So yeah, just add 20% on. But
I
agree
really
with Maldini.
Fucked up that they're asking for money after FIFA said that they can leave for free.
I mean, the whole thing is, I don't really want to get into the legalities of what happened with that sporting incident, but the whole thing seems a bit of a disgrace. I mean, the players got attacked / intimidated, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want to play for a club like that anymore. And I think that Sporting probably breached their side of things by not ensuring player safety, But whatever reason, Leao has been told that he has to pay this fine. Maldini came out and said that we won't be involved in the repayment of the fine. He said that in the second lot of quotes with Gazzetta dello Sport this morning.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. It's nothing to do with us. It's a transaction that happened between Leao, Lille and Sporting. We're not involved at all.
No, if anyone should be doing it, it's Lille. I do think you should show a little faith towards your best player, your most valuable, whatever you want to call him. Because what is that? I don't know. It takes the humanity. You got to separate the humanity from the business aspect of it. But as a person, you see this club says all these great things about you. We love you. We want you to stay forever. You're going to grow here. You're an icon, blah, blah, blah. You're most valuable. And then you're like, hey, can you help me with this? And they're like, it's not our fault. Not our business. Figure it out, So I get why that would leave a bad taste in his mouth. I don't know. But, I mean, Maldini's right. It's not our business.
There's one thing which would be saying, we're going to give you this amount of salary, which you can then use 20% of to go towards repaying Sporting. And then it's another thing saying, we're going to give you this amount of salary, which is a bit higher because we acknowledge the fact that you've got to give so much money back to Sporting. So we're not directly involved in the repayment of that. we're just saying we know you've got a bit of additional expense, so here's a bit more because we understand that, and that would be fine with me. But I don't like the idea that we step in like knights in shining armor and say, here's the extra 20%. You go and pay them their money back. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the quotes from Maldini that came out earlier today were actually very positive. He basically came out and said, and I will read it word for word because I don't want to misquote him. He said, Rafa understands that his path in the coming years must be at Milan. He understands it and tells us this. Then there'll be a negotiation, but we know strong players must be paid for their value. If the team grows further, Leao will have everything to compete to the maximum. Then, of course, there is no one that cannot be sold. That applies for all the teams in the world. So it sounds like he wants to stay, and it sounds like we're willing to make the economic effort to make it happen. But, of course, there's the added footnote of there is no one unsellable. There literally isn't. We've seen Messi leave Barca. We've seen Ronaldo leave Real Madrid. Neymar
Messi
go to PSG.
wasn't sold.
No, but you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
these players you think are absolutely immovable. The days of one club players at the elite level, I just don't think it's going to happen anymore.
Tonali's bringing him back.
Well, he's already been to 2 clubs, so.
I mean, so was like.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess so, but
Maldini shipped off his own son. You think he won't sell a star player?
He did. He actually said
two of them.
He said in the interview as well. This was the one that he did on stage yesterday. He said it's up to Daniel if he wants the number 3 shirt. He just needs to come to me and say, I want it. I'm like, mate, he's an attacking midfielder. If he takes the number 3 shirt, we'll riot because that just is not right. That is not right.
I like it. I think it's funny.
Can you imagine all those people who owned a Maldini 3 shirt and then had to get D. Maldini 3 shirts? That would be kind of mad. But yeah, so that was those were interesting comments from Maldini. I think it's the first time that he's been quite transparent about it, in my opinion, and said, look, the will is there on both sides, but there's a negotiation to be had. And if we get a daft offer, then we're forced to consider it.
Well, and I also think with George Mendes as his agent, that's a very powerful, great agent to have in your corner. And any club that comes in, he might say, you got to pay this fine. And that'll entice Leao. If he's like, oh, that saves me 19 million euros. Yeah, I'll transfer. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of reasons to leave, and it all revolves around that fine, unfortunately.
Mendes, another commission-based agent as well. He loves netting the extra cash. Look, I think teams are going to come in for Leao because he either performs badly, which doesn't help us, and then the teams that come in are probably less, or he performs really well and there is going to be elite teams interested. I still think Man City are going to come in. Chelsea might come back in as well, but I think Man City are the ones to look out for because they've already got quite a few influential Portuguese players and they didn't really replace Sterling. And Grealish might be getting sold, apparently. He's not really happy with what's going on there. And then there might be like PSG, depending on what happens with their forward line. So I think teams will come forward. With regards to how much we can command, his release clause is 150 mil. But if we get to next summer and we haven't renewed him, so he's only got a year left on his deal, there's no way we can command 150 million euros. We probably have to take 100 million because sadly, that's the economics of football, and we can't afford another Kessie Donnarumma situation.
Especially with this value.
Yeah, what is he worth now? Like the rumor was that in the summer, 120 million was the price we would have sat at the negotiating table for. But obviously the informal offers came in too late, and I'm glad that we didn't entertain them because he's huge for us, and we didn't have enough time to plan for this replacement. Then I guess the second part of the question was, who would you like to replace him? I don't want
know. Anyone to. I want him to stay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just for the purpose of discussion, let's say it was Chelsea or Man City. Is there a counterpart swap deal that you might open up to, sort of a Pulisic and
the only thing about Pulisic is he's always injured, and I would not. I mean, and I wouldn't be willing to take 30 million plus him for Leao.
He's also more of a right winger, is he?
I mean, he could do both.
Yeah. I would take like 60 million plus.
I would need more than 60. I don't think Pulisic is worth, whatever. If we're valuing Leao at 150, I don't 90. Pulisic isn't worth 90. Pulisic is worth about 60, I'd say, and that's Prem money. I think the most we'd spend on him 30 to 40. So there'd have to be
we
substantial
take
on top.
60 million plus Pulisic is 100 million, valuing him at 40.
60 mil cash plus.
Yeah, I'm saying we got to take more than the 100. I think it would need to be like, what was the option? There was two people from and Ziyech, and that gives us both our wings, I guess. So I would do that 60 mil plus Ziyech and Pulisic, because they were letting Ziyech go for 8 mil, so they don't value him at jack
No,
shit.
they weren't. It came out. Romano said after the window shut that they wanted 44 mil for Ziyech, and that's why he ended up going nowhere. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
even
makes sense.
consider a loan. I think we probably tried for that, and
Yeah.
like, okay, never mind.
Why
never
need him when we have Salamakers?
Hey, Mr. UCL.
Yeah.
And then Man City. I mean, you're looking with Man City at like a Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, those types of players.
They're all way
really.
older though.
Yeah, they are. Mahrez would be the best player in Syria, in my opinion. Like,
How old is he though? Isn't he 30?
31.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade
He
a
knows.
22-year-old phenomenon for a 31-year-old.
No, but maybe him and someone.
Bernardo Silva, but I mean, he's old too.
But
No,
their wages will be so high.
That's a point. Yeah, it depends then on the ambition, because if we're going to go out and get a replacement who's a similar level to Leao in terms of how established they are, they're going to be arriving with a big salary as well.
Mhm.
You can't go out and gamble, I don't think, and just go for a 20-year-old from Liga again. I don't know if that's going to wash with the fan base. We can't become a Dortmund, as Maddie always says.
I mean, the only way I see that, though, we sell Leao, and then we go all the way in on a 3-5-2, and we just get a big-name striker with that money. Because I think that's more realistic to take a big fee for a striker versus gambling on a new winger, which we would do. We wouldn't go all out for a top-class winger. That's just, there aren't enough,
Yeah.
So I think we would look for a high-level striker instead, and we would alter the formation.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, if you look at Anthony going for like 80 million, did he go for?
Yeah, but
that's
just
the
United
price now
being...
for a young winger.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that Prem teams now are always going to overpay, because Maldini said it again on the interview. You find all these quotes on our website, but he said, yeah, the Premier League is the Super League, basically, is what he said. Like, we just can't compete with the revenues that they're getting and stuff. And that's why the new stadium project is very important, and all the stuff we've mentioned before. Another player that he admitted that we rejected offers for was Teo Hernandez, and I think he's renewed his contract, don't get me wrong, but does that mean everything in modern football? Probably not, in my opinion. It strengthens our negotiating position if teams do come in, and they did come in. I think probably it was PSG who showed the most interest, and they got Nuno Mendes. But yeah, I think he's going to get offers as well.
And it'd be big money, because there's a handful of high-level fullbacks in the world right now.
Yeah. He's top 5. As a fullback, not just a left back. He's definitely a top 5 fullback in the world for me. He's in elite company with the likes of Alphonse Davies and João Cancelo and players like that. Finally, on the Leao thing, if we did something with Chelsea, I'd demand Kovacic in a swap deal, because I think Kovacic would be incredible for the way that we play. I always think he's been underrated as a midfielder, not talked about as one of the best. Gregory Peck asks, non-football question, favourite dishes you like to make for your spouses?
I made something actually really good yesterday. I fried some chicken in my Ninja Speedy. Sponsor me, because it's the greatest machine I've ever bought.
That'd be a sick pod sponsor.
Yeah. But I made some fried chicken in there, and then I just made it into a wrap. I made it like some buffalo chicken with a little habanero parmesan dressing on it, with some cilantro, lettuce, and a sliced radish, and then put it in a wrap, and was eating it like that. I had it yesterday. Probably gonna do it again today, because it's really fucking good. But, yeah.
That sounds really good. Yeah. Matt, did you're like a grill man. Everything I see
that man
you
smokes
do is
meat.
Like
I mean, I think it depends on if it's for me or for her. If it's for me, something on the smoker for sure. If it's for her, some kind of pasta.
Same for me, yeah, pasta.
Yeah, my
100%.
meal was literally just a lunch. That's just what I had for lunch yesterday. It wasn't like a family
Shows
dinner
how
or
much you
anything.
cook that you made a a McDonald's wrap for her.
Yeah.
No,
I guess you
better
call
than
it
that,
McDonald's
obviously.
wrap. I mean, it was. I created my own breading and stuff.
No, it's-
A
honestly,
little.
it's-
If you want a little neat trick for a healthy low cal breading, get those rice patty snacks that are like 50 calories each. Get a seasoned one. I got tomato basil, and then you blend them up into a powder. A little seasoning on there, salt, pepper, a little olive oil, and then I use low fat plain Greek yogurt as my egg wash, and then wrap it on that, and it's good to go.
this is not
Crispy
low.
AF.
This is not low calorie, but basically same thing. But smash up a bag of whatever flavored Doritos you want.
Yeah,
Put a little
Doritos,
chip in
cornflakes
that.
as well. Yeah, there's a lot of good
Yeah.
ones.
Crispy.
Better than
if you
panko.
like crispy
Um,
wings.
I mean, the last meal I made for my girlfriend was a meal Maddie made for me like 2 days prior, but slow cooked some ribs. That was pretty good.
AJ was mind blown about how easy it is to make.
It was so simple.
Ribs.
I've never made ribs before because I obviously live in an apartment right now, and I'm not going to put a slow cooker or whatever, a smoker on my tiny ass balcony. So, yeah, never made them. And then I was like, wait, you could do this in the oven and it's like 2 steps. Like, all right, cool. It is fucking
Yeah.
great. So yeah, ribs.
Yeah, it's definitely pasta for me. Like, my missus is very active, does a lot of running. She's running a London Marathon on Sunday, actually. So shout out to her. Looking forward to that. So yeah, a lot of like carby food. Plays football as well. So I make a lot of pasta, loads of different recipes. They always seem to go down well. So that's good. I don't know apart from that.
So, question: if you guys were being chased by like a bear or a tiger, you think that she'd leave you and just run
She
away?
should. She should.
Yeah.
Natural selection suggests that should happen. I'd be fine with it. I've had a good life.
I created a website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, getting killed by a bear. I don't
Well,
wanna
I'm
go
not
out
going
like
to over
that.
here unless something goes really bad at London Zoo. I think I'm safe from that.
That's true.
There's bears here.
Do you know what
Yeah.
there is a lot of here? I see, like everyone says, there's loads of rats in London. Now, I haven't seen a single rat since I've lived down here, but around us there are at least 5 or 6 foxes, and foxes are actually quite not cute because they're still.
I think they're adorable, man.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're really nice. They're really timid and shy. Like they never really come near you or anything. But people feed them. They're kind of like cats and dogs, you know?
Yeah, I don't think you should be feeding them, but yeah,
Yeah.
I see them out in the city all the time. They like wander in there because just on the outskirts, like where I live, as you can see, there's trees out the window. There's a ton of foxes in there, and then when I go into DC, you just see them randomly in the alleyways, like they get lost in the city, and then. But yeah, they're cute, man. But I saw one because I was looking this like brush here. It was last winter. All the leaves fell off the tree, so you could see straight through. And there was a squirrel or something just like hanging out. Maybe it was a rabbit. I don't know, but I saw a fox hunt it and just like catch it out of nowhere. It was crazy the stealth of it. Like I wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for my dog like barking and staring at it. And then I saw him and he just pounced on this rabbit, ran off with it. It's crazy.
Shame because rabbits are nice as well. Yeah,
Okay.
they are. We've gone quite a far way off course here. Final question. I will answer this because I do have an answer to it. Abhijit Mohan asks, what is my favourite IPL cricket team? Now, for these two who are uneducated in cricket, it's the Indian Premier League. And it's like the Super League.
I just
Okay, good.
Don't care.
Yeah, the answer is Delhi Capitals because I went to school with a friend who was from Delhi, and so I just took that on. And yeah,
When
that's
did
the
they
answer to the
get
question.
founded?
Oh,
What
like
was the question?
about 2008, I want to say, maybe.
So did they steal the name from the Washington Capitals?
Yeah, they did. They used to be called the Delhi Daredevils for a few, which I think sounded amazing. Delhi Daredevils
founded in
was a cool name.
2008 as the Delhi Daredevils. And then
Yeah, and
doesn't say when
then
it was changed to Capitals.
they changed like I want to say 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
Capitals, yeah. So yeah, I guess they did steal it, but they are also the Capitals. So I suppose fair dues if you want to call yourself that. Yeah, that's it, really, boys. Any closing remarks?
No.
No, good. Well, Thank you for listening. Obviously, it's a bit of a cobbled together one this week without any game action to reflect on, and just merely the Empoli game to preview. But we will be back next week to talk about the match that's happened, and of course the Chelsea and Juve games, which are huge in the scheme of our season. But yeah, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. You can find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. AJ, thank you for joining.
Yep, Torget45, and it was good.
Maddie?
Edward__Toth.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. That'd be great for the algorithm. Thank you. Check out our merch store as always, and yeah, we will catch you in a week's time. Thank you for watching.
Eccolo Ante in area di rigore, Ante, Ibra, gol! Vediamo se è buono, ce lo dà buono, ce lo dà buono, ce lo dà buono!